Lauren, are we good?
Yes, we're good to go, Laura.
Okay. So I created this little PowerPoint mostly to help keep me on track. And Lauren, do we see we're seeing everything okay? Give me a thumbs
We
up.
are.
Okay,
Yep, we're
perfect.
good.
Well, thank you everybody for attending. This is a workshop that is going to be one that I've come up with. So I hope that I can address some kind of questions that or issues that you may have or things that you may want to do to customize your learning path. And that's what we're going to be talking about today, customizing your learning path with release conditions, replacement strings, and intelligent agents. And I will explain those as we move forward. My name is Laura Reefer. I'm with the Center for Teaching Excellence. I am an instructional designer. I mostly work on the online side of the house, but since our COVID-19 pandemic, I've been working more with Lauren and kind of making our classrooms flipped, flexible, pivot, whatever term we want to use for that. But I am going to let Lauren introduce herself.
Hi, folks. So I'm Lauren Barbeau, and Laura, there is a request for you to put your slides in presentation mode. That'll make it a little bit bigger for us. If you could do that so that we can see better, that would be awesome. I am the faculty developer in Center for Teaching Excellence. I think I know everybody here, so I'll just leave it at that. But I'm going to be here to monitor chat if anybody has questions or comments, just to make it a little bit easier for Laura to manage the presentation.
Okay, everyone. Thanks, Lauren, for introducing yourself. I have put the presentation in present mode. Is this where everyone can see it? Is it okay? Let Lauren know, and she'll stop me if we need to make some adjustments here. So this workshop will introduce you to ways that you can customize your learning environment within Folio using release conditions, intelligent agents, and replacement strings. I have added a link here. This link goes to a Google Doc that I have created. There is a lot of information in this Google Doc and that I think you might find useful. There, I have started also putting little print screens in there for you so you can see how to set some of these items up. Okay, so I've broken this workshop down into 3 parts. Number 1, we're going to look at release conditions. So when you attach a release condition to an item in Folio, users cannot see that item until that condition has been met. Meaning, if you have an assignment, you have a quiz, but you want your students to complete different assigned activities before they're allowed to take that quiz, you can create a release condition that requires the users to view the content before accessing the quiz. So the second part of this is going to be replacement strings. This will allow you to personalize your announcements, your news items, your emails, or if you want to send congratulations to your students. It's a set of little variables that are inside curly brackets. We can put this inside the content, and the students won't see that little curly bracket code. What they will see in place of that is either their name, their first last name, your course name, whichever variable you choose. And thirdly, we are going to talk about intelligent agents and how to help automate your courses by sending emails, email reminders, maybe for students who haven't logged in 3 to 7 days or haven't been active in your course for that time. You can set these up, and you can also use replacement strings with these intelligent agents. So you can just compose one email and send it out to all your students, and it will personalize that email to each student it sends the emails to. So our learning objectives today is going to be to determine how release conditions, what type of release conditions that you're going to use in Folio. We're going to determine what type of intelligent agents you wish to use to automate your Folio course, apply release conditions to an activity, and we are going to create a personal space for your students by applying a replacement string in your Folio content. So real quick, in the document I've shared, there's a little more information than what's on this slide. But right here, I've got the practical uses for release conditions, such as you can put them on quizzes. I gave you an example before, you can have your students, if you want to set a release condition on a quiz that they have to view content prior to being able to take that exam, that's a release condition. That's a good use. In my example here on the screen, I say that you can take a syllabus quiz. Same scenario. Maybe you want them to receive 100% before being able to access the modules. You can use them in place of your dates, set them up more linear than using the dates to release your content. You can use them with a checklist. So if you are a checklist user, you can create a checklist. You can, once a student has gone through each of the items on the checklist, you set up a release condition to open up your next content that you want students to access. So I've also given you some practical uses on your replacement strings. You can customize your news announcements with the variables, like I explained a while ago, little curly bracket variables, and you can send personal messages to your students. You can use these replacement strings in most any HTML editor page within Folio, and you can also use them with intelligent agents to personalize those automated messages. Now, I made a little note at the bottom. Replacement strings are effective. They are. So you got to be careful with overusing those. And some pedagogy. This will help you to easily tailor your course delivery to each student's learner needs and strength and skills. And it will help you gauge your student skills and progress to determine if any adjustments that need to be made, so you can adjust your content maybe to better instruct your students and help them to meet their learning objectives. This will help you to automate your course and to better manage your time, which that is a lot of what we hear about how we're going to manage our time, especially with these online classes that we're doing. And this also helps to increase student motivation and their engagement, because you are also showing a personal presence, a social presence, and the instructor presence within your course. So some practical uses here. I have here that you can set a release condition and content before, best practices, I'm sorry, I said practical uses. But you want to make sure you set up this content before the class starts. That way you have time to test it and to check for mistakes. Now, reduce downtime, release conditions, and can process, make the system kind of slow down in its processing. So avoid using any unnecessary release conditions. And you can also increase your student engagement and motivation and perseverance with using these customized tools. You can use the replacement strings and intelligent agents sparingly, just like I mentioned before, because the tools are effective, and if you use them too much, it will lose its effectiveness and they won't pay attention to them. So I am going to now show you these tools in Folio. So I'm going to get out of my presentation here and share my course with you. If you have a sandbox course, I did not create sandbox courses for this activity, but if you have a sandbox course, if you'd like to work along with me, feel free to. If you want to sit and watch, you're more than welcome to it as well. So the very first thing I am going to go over is the release conditions. And if you notice on my news, in my news items on my front page here, you will see a congratulations message, and you will see that it was conditionally released. Now you can do this too. Say if you have special um, quizzes or maybe special items on checklist that a student has to meet. Only thing I can think of is nursing. They have like checklists, and then once they go through the checklist, they, might be able to get an award or whatever you're doing in your course. So how I did this, and I'm going to show you how I set up the news item, and then what happened, what took place to push this news item out. So I'm going to go condition news, and we are going to see our congratulation message here, and I'm going to go into edit mode. So here's where I gave it the header and the content, whatever you want to say within the body of the message. Now what I did, I scrolled down to the release condition, and what has to take place is a student has to complete one attempt of this quiz before this is released. So let me, I'm going to delete this, and I'm going to show you how that works. So I'm going to scroll back down to my conditions, and I'm going to say create and attach. Now, what I want to do is when you're putting a release condition on an item, you always want to put that condition on the item in which you are trying to restrict. So I want to restrict this message to be pushed out to the announcement area. So I am going to come here, and I'm going to select my quizzes. And I'm just going to say, just complete a quiz attempt. You can set this up by using percentages. Maybe they make a certain score on a quiz, whatever your preference is. Now I'm going to have to select the quiz name. So I'm going to do the emergency quiz too. And there was only one attempt on it. Okay. And I update. Now, I have already taken this quiz, so when I come over here to student view to show you the news announcement, it's probably going to be there, and it is. But I have the other things I'm going to show you and show you how they work, because I forgot about it until I was going to go into student mode that I had actually taken the quiz attempt. Okay. So now I'm going to show you how to do this maybe on a modular level. Say we want our students to take a syllabus quiz or an orientation quiz before viewing any other module content. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to restrict the modules because I want them to take the orientation quiz first. So I'm going to leave the orientation because that's where my quiz is. I'm going to leave this module open. The first module I'm going to go to is module 1. Here in the modular level underneath the title, you can click on Add Dates or Restrictions. This is where you will find your release condition where you can set them on a modular level. So I am going to click Create. And I'm going to do this on a quiz. And let's see, complete quiz attempt. And we're going to say the orientation quiz and 1 attempt. I'm going to do this on, and don't forget to hit update because the update button is kind of in an awkward place. You think once you hit create, it's created, but it's not. You got to make sure you hit that update button. I'm going to do this on about 3 modules, and I'm going to leave the last 2 open, and then I'm going to go over and show you what it looks like from a student perspective. So let's do that again on module 2. Again, I'm going to click on Add Dates and Description. Create a new release condition. I'm going to go down to my quizzes and my quiz attempt, orientation quiz, create, update. Now you can also restrict this. I'm just doing it on a modular level. You can do this on each item under this module as well. Depends on what you want to accomplish for your students. So again, I'm going to select complete a quiz attempt and the orientation quiz. Okay, and update. Okay, so I have placed that particular release conditions on module 1, 2, 3. Now I've left 4 and 5 alone. So when we go over to student view, we should see that we will not see modules 1, 2, and 3 until we take the quiz. And there it is. Oh yeah, because I took the quiz. Okay, hang on. Let me get rid of that quiz attempt and then I'll show you. So let's go over here. Quizzes. Orientation quiz. And I'm just going to delete my attempt. And there we go. So now if I go back over here, you should see that it is restricted. And it is not. Great. I promise you guys this works. So let me see what I did wrong. Okay, so first let me go in here, make sure that quiz attempt, I did remove it. And I did. Okay, so content. Complete 1 attempt on, let's just redo this, create.
Laura, Karen is saying that you need to remove emergency quiz.
Emergency quiz.
Yeah, there's 1 score published to that quiz already.
Yeah, but I'm working off the orientation quiz. That really shouldn't matter, but I will do that because they're, each quiz is separate. So it really should not matter on that. Okay. So let's go back and make sure we have this condition set. So orientation quiz. And that's the orientation quiz. The orientation quiz there. And it has no restriction and no restrictions. Okay. Yeah, they're still there. Well, I hate when this happens, but let's go out and I should have cleared everything, I guess. But what we'll do is I'll show you that, but I'll do it in reverse. I'll do 3 and 4. And let's remove these. And you remove them by just selecting on the X. And if you've worked with rubrics or any kind of release conditions within an assignment, that's how you exit out of each or delete them. Just click on the X and update.
Laura, would you like me to screen share the release conditions from the Flex course? I can do that if you'd like.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
So, but I really want them to see that this works. So
I will show you from the Flex course just because it's the same thing. Some of you I know have been in the Flex course, so you will be familiar with the conditions set on this.
I have to set those up, so
yeah. She did help me set those up. It's the truth. She's not lying. Okay. I think I'm taking over. There we go. For many of you, this may be something that you're already familiar with, but just in case anybody's not, we want to make sure that you know it. So I'm going to go into content. Now my internet's not going to
work. Give me take back over because it's working.
Okay, it's working maybe I won't show you. Well, folks, this is what happens
technology.
When the technology just decides it's going to give up on you.
It's good when it works.
My internet's not working. So.
All right, so let me
probably lose you in a moment.
Let me take back over. Okay, everybody got Laura presenting? Do you see Folio class?
Yes.
Lauren. Okay, all right. So it worked. I really and truly don't know why it didn't because I set the same condition up on the orientation quiz. And I'm just going to set it. I set it on 2 of the modules. Oh. I'm going to go here. I set it on module 1 and 3. That's kind of odd, but I didn't get to 2 before I had to switch back over. So as you see here, I purposely left these open to show you that you can set up a release condition to block out module content until this orientation quiz has been taken. So I can come over here in my student view and just take the orientation quiz, and then you'll see how it will release those other modules. Okay. So now if I go back over to content, we should see those other modules. So there is module 1 and there is module 3. So you see how that works based on when the quiz is taken, then it will push the content out, but your students will not see that until that condition has been met. So that's a one way you can do it. There's multiple ways that you can put release conditions on items. I have some other examples, but with time, because I had some little problems while ago, I'm kind of getting behind now. So I am going to show you about these replacement strings. So if you have used our Folio template, or if you've attended the Flex Ed course or any of our courses, TOC, within Folio, you will see many of them will welcome you with your name personally, as this message here does. It says, welcome Laura to the course, and this course is Laura Larry for Sandbox 3. Now, the magic is behind the scene. So I'm going to come back over to my news items, and I'm going to show you, if I can scroll down here to the getting started, and I'm going to edit. Now, what we've done here is we've just typed out our message, but where you saw the name, I have put a replacement string inside of brackets. First name, last name, org unit name, which is our course name. And I'm going to switch over to this document that I shared with you. At the bottom, you'll see the table of contents in the left side. You can hit replacement strings. I have provided some replacement strings for you that you can use to personalize your course. And there, you can also find them within Folio as well. And I'll show you those when we get to the intelligent agent, because they don't really show you where they're at. So another example of this news item, or a news item, is we got a news item here for an upcoming midterm. And again, it's got my name, my course, and the course ID. So I've used a different replacement string here to display my course ID, because maybe the student is going to testing center and they need the information about the course. So you can use these replacement strings to provide that information for your students, and again, to personalize that for them. You can use replacement strings in most any HTML page. You can use them within your email in Folio, not Gmail, but your Folio email. So if you are sending out emails in here, you can just use anything in that replacement string, those different ones, and there's an explanation, a description next to the replacement string that tell you what they are used for. Now, this is kind of quick and fast, talking about replacement strings, because they're really that simple. You can just use them to personalize that course, and that helps you to give a social presence or an instructor presence to your students, because when they open up, they're going, oh man, she really typed that to me, you know. So, you know, it just gives a good sense of community for your students. And so the next thing I'm going to go over are the intelligent agents. The intelligent agents can be used to send automated messages to your students. Maybe they are, um, maybe they haven't logged into the course in so many days, or they haven't done any course activity. So you can find this if you're from a previous institution and that used D2L. You may have had it up here in the tool area, but ours is not there. Ours is under the edit course. So if you go into edit course where most of your tools are, you can scroll down under communications and you'll find your intelligent agents. Now I have a couple set up. You can find examples on D2L's website of different types of intelligent agents that you can use. But I've set this course activity one up here. I'm going to show it to you. And then you can do a practice run, which I do recommend that you do a practice run on this and your release conditions before your class starts. Just as I had that issue with the release condition, you may run into issues too that you need to test. So that's just best practice. So what I'm going to do here is I've set up, I've given it a name of course activity, because this is going to be based on how their login or interaction with the course activity. Once I have decided that this is the agent I want to use, I would enable it here. So if you don't, you're going to have to manually run these yourself. So I have in the criteria, I'm just going to use visible to my class list because I want it to send these intelligent agents to everybody in the class list. I want it to scan all the students, see if they meet the requirements, the associations or the conditions is what I was looking for this particular event to take place. So I'm not using the login activity here. Instead, I'm using the course activity. And you take an action when the following course activity criteria is satisfied. So in my case, I have user has not accessed the course in at least 7 days. It can be 3 days. It can be however how many days you want. So I've got 7 days. I figured a week is good. They need to get back in the course if they want to stay on target. And I can use a release condition with this as well. So I'm trying to think of one that I would use with the course activity. Let me think about that, and we'll just stick with the intelligent agent. So I want the actions to take place. I've chosen the action to only take place once, not each time, but the one time. And right here, you can click on this link. It says which action participation setting, repetition setting, sorry, should I use? And it will give you a pop-up box that will explain each one of these to you. So the one I'm using is the first time. And this is when you select, it says all users satisfy the criteria receives one email after how many times the agent is evaluated. So I'm going to have my email here. Your email address may look different depending on if you set it up in your settings. And I recommend that you go to your settings at the top here where your name is and go to your account settings. Make sure that your email address is there. I just left it at help desk. That's fine because I'm copying me here. So I've gone back. What I'm doing here in the to box, text box, you notice I have used a replacement string. I could come over here to my contacts and, just like if you send any other email in Folio, you get to select your contacts. But in this case, I want to type one email. I don't want them all copied to everybody. So I'm just going to say initiating user. And again, that is on that replacement string table that I gave you on that document. You can also find it right here at the bottom. There's a link. I don't know if you can see it, but it says, um, what special email addresses can I use? I think that's not the right one. Oh, here it is, the replacement strings. It's under the subject. So here's a list of the replacement strings. So there is some here that you can use. I'm using the initiating user because it's just going to put each user that meets this condition. And I want to copy myself because if you're going to send an email out about maybe attendance, maybe they are not, they haven't met the attendance requirement. So you're going to have an automated message go out to students, or maybe they haven't logged in, same thing. So you want to make sure that you put your email address in here and be prepared that students are going to email you back and go, oh, what's up? So just heads up on that. So again, in the subject, instead of putting, it says I could put this course, but instead I decided to use a replacement string. And so this org unit name is the name of my course. That is the way it's listed in D2L. So it will pull up the name of my course and it says you have been absent from this course. And then I have my message. And again, I'm going to personalize this even more because up here, this initiating user goes to your account, your user ID. This initiating user, if you notice, it's got first name. So what it will do is if this was to me, it would put Dear Laura. And you can do the same thing and just change first to last, and that will give you first and last name. And in this one, again, I put in the body of my message the org unit name of my course. So once you have done all your little adding with your replacement strings in your intelligent agent, you are ready to save it. You can schedule these. You can set up a schedule if you like, but I'm going to save and close this now. And I'm going to show you how to run a test. So if you set up an agent and you want to see how it looks or what it does, you can hit a practice run. It's actually going to send me an email, but it's going to take a little bit and we'll go over there and look at it. It just tells me that the intelligent agent had ran without any problems. Now, typically in the tools, we can click on this down arrow next to maybe, the tool name, the quiz, the assignment Dropbox, the discussions, whatever we're doing. And we have like all these different options. These are a little different. We do have the edit and we do have a copy, so you can copy it over and make some changes to it. We can view history. So I can come here and pull up the history of this course activity, and I can see when they were ran. I can open it up and see the users that it went to and the action that was taken. Of course, these are bogus users, and I don't like to really run this because I don't want Dan Calhoun and Lauren Barbeau and Debbie Walker to get emails sent. about their course activity. But you can, I want you to know that you can see a report and you can run these reports based on the results. So let's jump over to my email box real quick and see if we see that because I copied me. Let's see if we have that here yet. And there it is. It shows that the agent ran, it completed, and it just shows that it ran for my course and it was the course activity. And was there any action taken? Yes, there was action taken. So this is just the follow-up message that you would get just to let you keep track of those intelligent agents. Now, are there any questions so far?
Good so far.
Okay. So let's look at this one. I forget what this one looks like, but it's a welcome back message. And I don't know where it went. So what we've done here is this is on the login activity. And in the past day, they will get sent a message that says, welcome back to the course users. See here, I would put the replacement string, initiating user first name, just like this instead of users, just makes it more personal. And it just says this is an example of a intelligent agent. So there's several things that you can do. I haven't done this, but I did read on the D2L site that faculty can use an intelligent agent to even send themselves reminders. Maybe you have to do something in Module 5 before you get there. So you can send yourself a reminder that you have maybe a report to run or some content to add to that. So,
Laura,
yes.
along those lines, Kendra is asking if we can see the intelligent agent that was sent to the sample student because she'd like to see what it would look like from the student view. So
I
maybe doing what you're saying, you could send a reminder and see what that looks like.
I cannot because the users, I just ran a test. If I run this now, it's going to send this out to everybody that's in this course. And
Gotcha.
yeah, this is just a test one. But
Yeah.
yeah, if I run it now, we can maybe if I run it now, Lauren can see. Let's see. I tell you what,
That's
let's
true.
do
Let's
this.
try it.
Wait, hold on. Let's do another one and let's just add Lauren.
Yeah, I think that's what she's going to do, Kendra.
So I am going to copy this course activity one, just going to copy it over and we're going to make some changes to it. Okay, so instead of, well, I don't know that I can do that because my choice is all users within my class list or users with specific roles. So I don't know. Let's see. I think Lauren might be an instructor in here. Let's see what it does. Um, mm,
Well, I haven't been in there, so that should be easy enough.
yeah, it should, shouldn't it? Okay. So let's save this. And I'm probably going to have emails going to folks and I'm going to get email's back going, what is this? All right, let's run now. Okay, I sent it to Lauren. Let's see who else it sent it to. 3 other users. Okay, send it to Debbie and Patricia. Maybe I should let them know. um, anyway, let's pull up the email sent to Lauren and see what it looks like. Here it is. So, Kendra, you have an example right here. When I actually run the report, I'm sorry it's cutting it off. This is,
Laura, notice
yes.
that it says in org unit name. So what happened there with the intelligent agent?
Oh, hang on. Where'd it go? Ah.
Oh, it's because your parentheses are not the
Oh,
same.
yeah, they're not the same.
Yep.
What I did, if you guys can see this, I have a bracket and a curly bracket. So that's why it broke. It absolutely broke. So that, just pay attention. I didn't when I was supposed to use curly brackets. But you can see that what the email looks like. And again, you can pull the history.
So if anyone has ever used a mail merge, this is essentially a mail merge
Yeah.
replacement string. It works very
Yeah.
similar to that if you're familiar with what mail merges are.
So, Lauren, did you get the email? I'm curious.
I did get the email, yes, and it looked just like that.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. And there we go. I have it fixed. So I'm going to send another email to you. So I'm going to run it now with that corrected course ID. Oh, wait a minute. That's the old one. Whoop. I got myself all messed up. It said 0 identified. All right, let's try this again. So I have this one. It just does not like the, what is this? Let's copy. I'm going to send this one to you. Oh, that's the one that's broken. I had the wrong one. Sorry about that. Okay, so I'm going to run this now again. Hmm. I can't even get back to that email page on this one. Just fumbling around. But Lauren, you did get it, correct?
Yes, I did get it. It
Okay.
went to, I mean, for the record, I have my inbox set up to have an updates tab. So if students have their email address or their email inboxes set up that way, it came in under that updates tab, not under my
Okay.
main tab, just as an FYI.
Well, that's how it sends it to me as well. It's under the updates right here. See, I have all these. These are the different ones. So that's the first ones I tried. Um, I had the wrong. So this last one, it's sent. So Lauren should probably get another email since she hasn't logged in. And you can schedule these to run, every week if you want. But if you do schedule them, make sure you enable them, or you're going to have to do this number here, run now, and have it push them all out there yourselves. And I mean, that doesn't really help you, and if you got to remember to go in and run them. Anyway, that's about it for what I got in our time. So does anybody have any questions?
Hi, I have a quick question. This is Kendra.
Hey, Kendra.
Hey, I'm interested in the intelligent agents, and I just have it's a, I guess, a practical question. Why did you have to type initiating user first name instead of just first name? Um,
Well, when I used, I kind of tricked the system really. When you saw it in the news item where I put first name, that is just something I knew from a programmer side that worked. But the initiating first name, both will probably work for you, but I haven't tested that in the intelligent agents to see if the first name variable works like the initiating user first name.
okay,
Does that make
because
sense?
that's yeah, because I only when I use replacement
Yeah.
strings in my news items, I just put first name, and I was like, okay, no, that's all.
Yeah, that's kind of a trick to the system. It's kind of a back end programming thing. So it tricks the system. You can totally use that in your news item, but it's the same as that initiating user.
So there are two questions. I wanted to return to a question that Kendra had asked earlier about
Mhm.
using replacement strings, or maybe it was Karen had asked it about using replacement strings on module pages and content. Kendra had shared a link to a Brightspace document on embedding
Mhm.
those intelligent aid or those replacement strings. It has a note about for content tool, which makes it sound like so Kendra has said that she has some issues getting it to work for her. It should work in all HTML pages. However, there is a note on content tool about the way
Yeah.
that it strips replacement strings and does weird things if you copy from one course into another. Um, it's a little bit technical, jargony for me, so I don't know if you could decode that a little bit for us and maybe tell us what's going on with replacement strings and content pages. And then Jackie Kelly also has a question, but I'll let you answer that one first.
Okay. So, I'm sorry. I was working in here to share my screen and didn't have my screen shared. So hang on just a second. Okay. Can you see my course? You see my page?
Yes.
Okay. So if I do like Kendra said and use first name, I use it here and I say save. That's exactly the way it's going to look in the module pages. It breaks in these module pages. Why? I don't know. I don't know if that was intentional by D2L or if that is a bug. So as you see, it doesn't work.
Is
However,
there a way to get into the code and change that?
that's what we're fixing to look at. So
Cool.
if I come here to the edit HTML page, and what I've done, I'm just I'm just clicking without telling you guys. So what I've done is I've scrolled down to the bottom of this page, and there are these little icons. This one with the two open and closed brackets, that's what they're called in HTML when you're coding for a web page. If you click on this icon, it opens up the HTML code on the back end. So let's see. Let's see if it works. It may or may not, because I did see that same message on D2L's site. And we're going to try it this way, first name, last name. And no, it's not going to do it. So let me jump over here and grab this. We're trying two different ways. We're going to see if I save this now, I can look at this and tell it didn't work. Now there is probably some kind of code I can add. Right now I'm just trying to use the curly brackets in its place to see if it will work. There probably I can probably come up with some code for you if you want that. But let's think about that. If we put that in our content pages, are we overusing that? Will that not be effective if we use it in an announcement? So, I mean, that's something to think about. No, it's not going to work. I can find out why it doesn't work if you would like. You want me to find out why it's not working?
That would be useful.
Yeah.
Because reading the page that Kendra shared, it looks like it should work.
Yeah,
but
it doesn't.
It's not.
And that's not unusual to me, designing in D2L. D2L, it kicks out a lot of certain codes. It will strip it out and it gets annoying. And you have to, from a designer perspective, and Lauren probably has experienced this herself just recently, that it will kick certain things out and you have to just manipulate the system. But I haven't actually tried it here. I have only used them in the news items and emails because I just want them to be more effective. I think personally, if I used them in my content pages, it would kind of, like best practices, it would lose its effectiveness. So just think about that as well, but I will definitely get an answer for you, whether it's one we like or one we don't like.
Okay, we all got to drink water now.
Okay, any more questions?
So Jackie Kelly had a question. Can you set up an agent to send students who do not watch a recorded video that has been posted to Folio?
Yes, you can, and that would be done using the intelligent agent with a release condition. And because we are running out of time, do you mind if I email you and give you the step-by-steps? Matter of fact, I'll tell you what, I'll just get everybody's name and I'll send everybody the step-by-steps. Will that work?
Laura, we have attendance. And just so everybody knows, I've put the link to the action plan in the chat window, as well as the designation. This is a Teaching with Technology workshop. So if you are working towards a badge, you can go ahead and submit your materials.
Well, thank you all for attending. I hope I haven't confused you more than probably you started in here, but I hope that you can come up with ways to customize your path, your learning path for your students. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to myself or Lauren, and we'll be glad to help you and give you an answer. So if you need to leave, it's okay. And thank you again for attending.
This is Karen. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, I just have a